Hello there, everyone. I'm Dr. Kirsten James Dunn, and together with me, you will be sharing ideas about movies and their meaning this term. Specifically, the sort of films that frighten us, uh, make us laugh through our fear, and that make us challenge our beliefs and values. Okay, the amazing thing to me, or one of the most amazing things to me about films that frighten us, is the notion that they reflect typically societal values, particularly of the era. So films, in addition to telling us something about ourselves, tell us something about the era in which they were made. Now, this particular introduction has to do with the project that we have of possibly hosting our own cinema experience. And that's something we're going to talk about in class. However, throughout the term, I'm going to be hosting with a number of AI creations, virtual horror film hosts that we have during the terms of our course. And so let's start with one of our hosts describing the concept and history of the late night movie film host.
Hello, I am TV Ania, part of the new generation of AI movie hosts, welcoming you to this report, Monsters After Midnight, a short history of late night movie hosts, where we pay tribute to the iconic and sometimes hilariously obscure world of late night hosts. These strange and delightful figures have introduced audiences to cult classics, B-movie oddities, and flickering nightmares since the 1950s. Whether cloaked in shadows or dripping with camp, they are more than just movie presenters. They are the storytellers between the stories, the guardians of midnight movies, and the late-night double-feature picture show. First, we remember Vampira. She slinked onto black and white TV screens in 1954 like a gothic fever dream. Vampira, played by Mela Nurmi, was television's first horror host. On The Vampira Show, she floated across graveyards, offered deadpan quips, and turned cheap horror films into surreal, subversive spectacles. Her look, tight black dress, waist like a wasp's sting, razor-sharp nails, inspired generations. Elvira, Morticia, Lily Munster, all owe a debt to Vampira's shadow. Most commonly appreciated as one of the most astonishingly gifted artists ever to grace television and screen, not everyone realizes that in later years, Vincent Price also hosted radio and television programs. Listed as active in films from 1938-1993, a remarkable 55-year span, his voice and iconic presence are entirely unique. How to put it, if Vampira enticed you into the crypt, Vincent Price made you feel welcome once you were there. A classically trained actor with a voice like candle wax melting over mahogany, Price starred in dozens of horror films, often with a wink. He was our guide to elegant fear, capable of making murder sound like poetry. He narrated haunted houses like a maitre d' of mayhem. For many, he remains horror's most charming ambassador. Next, we have Rod Serling. Mr. Serling wasn't a horror host in the traditional sense. He wasn't in a coffin, didn't wear a cape, but he absolutely belongs in this pantheon. In his impeccably tailored suits, with laconic smoke drifting from a strategically balanced cigarette, his smooth, matter-of-fact introductions captivated the audience in ways that no other producer has matched. Serling brought moral gravitas and philosophical reflection to speculative television. He opened each episode with an eerie calm, inviting us into stories that questioned reality, justice, and human nature. He is, in many ways, the horror host as philosopher, serious, stylized, and unforgettable. Next, enter Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Debuting in the 1980s with movie Macabre, She turned the genre inside out with bawdy jokes, valley girl innuendo, and unapologetic cleavage. Elvira, played by Cassandra Peterson, wasn't just a parody. She was a cultural force, an LGBTQ plus icon, a comedy queen, and a canny entrepreneur. She gave horror hosting a fabulous new life. She reminded us all that laughter and fear often share the same scream. However, beyond the national icons have always been the local legends, those who ruled regional airwaves from dusty studios and cheap sets. Let's name a few: Jeepers, Bob Guy of Jeepers Creepers Theater in Tacoma, WA, who combined novelty songs with family-friendly frights; Ghoulardi, a beatnik with a beard and sunglasses who made Cleveland weird; Zachary, New York's cool ghoul, part horror, part rock and roll; Sven Gulli, who has survived across generations with groan-worthy puns and rubber chickens; Crematia Mortem, the delightfully deadpan ghoul of the Gaslight District, was a vampy, wisecracking hostess with towering black hair, dramatic makeup, and a sly sense of humor. Played by Roberta Solomon, Crematia became a cult favorite in the Midwest and is one of the few prominent female horror hosts of her era. Dr. Sar Kofe-Guy, played by John Dimes of Washington, D.C., has been keeping the late-night movie community in good company since 1995. A suave, undead lounge lizard with a passion for jazz, funk, and classic horror draped in velvet and wit, Dr. Sar Kofe-Guy delivers cheesy chills with cool charm and cultural savvy. They brought horror home, making it feel both intimate and ridiculous. Arguably, horror hosting never died, it just uploaded. Today, we find horror curators on YouTube, Twitch, and streaming platforms. Joe Bob Briggs, a late-night movie host originally from the waning of the television era, returned with The Last Drive-In to delight a new generation of viewer. Fan projects revive vintage hosting styles, and even AI-generated personas are emerging. The format adapts and haunts new mediums. Which brings us to us, yes, us. In this course, your horror hosts may be human, but they may also be digital. AI narrators, avatars, voices that guide you through midnight movies. We're testing what it means to preserve culture with a spectral touch. After all this, one may still wonder, why do we need media hosts at all? Because in the darkest hours, it's nice to have someone there, reaching out to us from the digital darkness. Horror hosts keep us company, becoming good companions to our fascination with the uncanny and untimely. They are catalysts for catharsis and champions of the weirding and the wondrous. They preserve cult film experience and curate as well as create community. In this course, we have an opportunity to honor this tradition by hosting our own event, Monsters After Midnight, or rather, Monsters After Midday, as the case may be. More about that in future. For now, many thanks for your time, and I look forward to working together again soon.